Episode 2 of The Threshold. The moment I stopped asking permission to be a healer. Welcome to The Threshold. Today, in my writing group, the prompt was Threshold. I shared about the Threshold gathering I hosted on the 9th and about posting my summer schedule publicly today. But while I was speaking, I realized something deeper was happening. For the first time publicly, I said out loud, I am a healer. Not attached to an institution, not explained through credentials, not softened by disclaimers, just the truth. And I realized that was the threshold. Not becoming something new, but finally acknowledging what has always been true. There was something incredibly liberating about saying it out loud without feeling the need to explain myself. I've always wanted this, not because I wanted a title, but because it has always been a part of me. The struggle was never whether I was a healer. The struggle was understanding how to embrace that truth fully, how to be myself for others while still being myself for me. Speaking it publicly felt vulnerable because I wasn't hiding behind explanations or credentials or permission. Without those things, I am trusting resonance. I'm trusting that the people meant for my work will feel it, that my community will find me, not because I convince them, but because something inside of them recognizes something inside of me. For a long time, I kept looking for someone else to acknowledge what I already knew was true. I looked for approval, for reflection, for confirmation. The wisdom was already there inside of me, but self-doubt kept interrupting the flow when it came time to speak. And there's nothing wrong with waiting or wanting acknowledgement. We all want to be seen. But somewhere along the way, acknowledgement became permission. And truth becomes unstable when it depends on outside permission. That realization changed something inside of me. I realized I wasn't waiting to become a healer. I was waiting to feel safe enough to acknowledge that I already am one. That's different. Healing isn't perfection. It doesn't mean everyone around me is healed. It doesn't mean I suddenly have all the answers. It means I am finally beginning to walk in what I know I was created to be. And there is something deeply stabilizing about no longer arguing with yourself. I can look back now and see the choices I made, the sorrow, the consequences, the heartache, but I also see the lessons. I see how every part of my path shaped me, not despite the pain, through the pain. And I think healing is less about becoming flawless and more about becoming embodied. Becoming honest enough to fully inhabit yourself, to stop withholding truth from your own life. After the group, I stood up and my body moved differently. My legs felt stronger than they have in months. And I realized this wasn't only emotional and spiritual, it was physical. As if my body responded to the acknowledgement, as if something inside me finally stopped resisting itself. There's grief in realizing how long I needed permission to stand fully in my own knowing. But there is also freedom in finally standing here now. And maybe that's what a threshold really is. The moment your inner truth becomes strong enough to reorganize your life, even your body, so your soul and your life begin speaking the same language. If this conversation resonates with you and you'd like to go deeper, you can join me inside the Threshold Gathering, a space for healing, reflection, and coming home to yourself. Information about the Threshold Gatherings and upcoming offerings is listed below. Until next time, breathe, be honest, and come home to yourself.